How's it going, everybody? My name is Dylan, and I want to welcome everybody to the first episode of the Bobo Buzz podcast. I'm joined here with my wife, Stacey.
Hey, everybody. So excited to be here. Episode 1. So
Kicking it off right.
that's right. Getting it started. Guys, I have been begging Dylan forever to do this. Like, how long do you think?
It's been a very long time.
Yeah.
I've just been kind of reluctant to do it. But
I think now he's most excited about doing it, so all of the guys that he works with can listen to it. He was just telling me that they're very excited to probably just make fun of him when we're done.
I don't think it's less listening and more so like, did you hear yourself on that last podcast? How you sound? The fact that you're actually just talking to a microphone.
That's okay. At least we're doing it. You're making me happy. That's what matters, right?
Happy wife, happy life.
That's exactly how it goes. That's exactly what I knew was coming. Good deal. I like to hear that. So, episode 1. I'm just going to be real with you guys. So we are winging it. We had some really good ideas and wanted to get together and talk and bring it to y'all. I don't even know what else to say. What do you think?
That's basically it. We're just kind of just rolling with it. I've been just learning how to start a podcast and how to start a website and just kind of learning from the ground up. So we are just going to see where it goes.
Just winging it. So Dylan and I have been married. We're coming up on 2 years next week.
Yep. Happy early anniversary.
That's right. Happy anniversary, babe. August the 6th. We'll be married 2 years. If you know me, you know I hate hot weather, and we got married on probably the hottest day of the year outside in the afternoon. But it was all good.
It was one of the hottest days ever, for sure. But it turned out really well. We had 300 of our closest friends and family there.
Because, y'all, but honestly, 300 of our closest friends and family is literally our closest friends and family. We have huge families.
Yes, and it extends in all directions, from work life to family friends.
Yeah.
And we're definitely blessed with a good group.
Yes, yes. So we don't know exactly who's going to be listening to us. We hope you guys will come back and listen again. I know this first one will probably be rough. We're hoping that we get better as we go, but we're gonna kind of deal with it and just push through this one. We're gonna go all unedited, so you're gonna hear all the mess ups and the giggles and tripping over our words, I'm sure, but we'll get through it.
Yep, I'll eventually learn how to properly edit a podcast, but at this point I have no idea how to do that. So we're just going to record this straight from here and see where it goes.
Well, we know we've got a couple listeners. We know our mamas are going to be listening. My friend Deborah and our friend Rhonda, Yep. They've all promised they'll listen.
We've at least got 4 or 5 guaranteed views. So
how I came about this is, or why I wanted to do this, I own a store in Benton, Kentucky, in our hometown, and we do lives a lot on Facebook there, and it's one of my favorite things. Really enjoy it. So I thought, why not kind of take that home, bring in our home life a little bit, and chit-chat about that, and do some talking, and kind of tell about our lives and tell about our journey and things like that. So that was just kind of the idea behind it, and I brought it to Dylan, and he was ready to go. He finally reluctantly said yes, and he's the tech guy, so he was excited to get to set up all the tech side of it, while I am more of the throw it all together and make it work side.
Yeah, just wait and see how it turns out kind of thing. But it's been fun trying to learn how to do everything. Just from setting up a website, which I had no idea where to even start. Before we kind of get too far into this, I do want to give a shout out to Tim Batts. He's been
a huge help.
Huge help with all of this, because I didn't even know where to turn when Stacey just came home one day and said, "Hey, we're doing this podcast thing. You need to get the equipment and figure out how to do a website." It's like, well, okay. So he was the first person I thought of. He actually is the co-host of the Hometown Bluegrass Show, and it's actually a podcast, and you can find that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anything in between. I'll actually link his website and everything down below. So Tim, really appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for everything, and I'm sure I'll be reaching out to you more when I start diving into the editing realm and everything like that. So
I had never listened to Tim's podcast until we went over and started talking with him and met with him and stuff. And when we got home the next day, I started listening to I listen on Spotify. So I'd started listening to him on Spotify, and it's him and Josh Williams. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with the bluegrass world, but Josh is amazing. He has been in the industry as long as I can remember. He's, I think, around my age, maybe a little bit younger than me, but he's been in that industry forever. And they are amazing together. They have such a connection, and their show it's really good. Even if you're not a huge fan of bluegrass, don't know anything about it, it's a very good, interesting show. So check that one out for sure.
Yeah, I think they're up to 25 episodes now.
Oh, really?
So they've been going at it, I think, since January of this year.
And they go weekly. I think, isn't that what he told us that they do weekly?
Yeah, I believe it's every Monday or something like that. So they'll do a podcast every week, and then of course they also have their band as well. So they're I don't believe Josh is actually in the band, but I know Tim is big into all that, and they have shows I think every week too. Yeah. So he stays pretty busy with that.
And Josh has another band. I can't remember the name of it right now, but we'll have to look that up. We can link that as well. Kind of give them a shout out there, but we really do appreciate their help. So let's tell them a little bit about ourselves, because that's really what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, just us.
just our life. So Dylan and I met. When did you start working at the restaurant?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. I think it was like 2015 or something like that. April 2015.
10 years ago almost?
Coming up on 10 years. Yeah.
So, Dylan, if you don't know us, my parents own a restaurant in Hardin, and Dylan came to work there when he was 16?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I was first job, 16. I was I guess would have been a junior at that time.
Okay. So, I guess we could tell them what most people think is the most interesting thing about us before we connect all this.
Yes. Drum roll, please. There's a 20-year age gap between us.
And I am the older one. So we have flip-flopped that just a little bit. I know everybody's mind is blown. That is what most people want to hear, what they always ask questions about. But I don't know. It just works for us.
Yeah, I've never had any issues with it at all. It's always kind of amusing to us whenever we get to tell people that, because we kind of just look at them for a second and said, hey.
Yeah, I kind of wish y'all were sitting in front of us so we could see the look on your face when we said that.
Because I'm sure you're sitting there and probably showing your significant other to the right, be like, I'm listening to this podcast, and they are 20 years apart, and the guy's the younger one.
I was sort of saying the female is the older one, because that never happens. I feel like the looks we get when we tell people, it just kind of cracks me up, because I always think if it was reversed, I don't think people think anything about it.
I think when you typically look back, you think, I don't know how to word it, I guess. You think typically the male is the older one. I don't know why, but we always kind of get a joy out of it now. Like I'm going to tell people, it's kind of like well, guess what? There's 20 years here. So
Dylan came to work at the restaurant and worked there you worked there up until what, 2020?
Yeah, so I worked there up until I finished West Kentucky Community and Technical College. I went there and got an associate degree in criminal justice right before I started my law enforcement career. And then, so it had been, right around February of 20 is when I would have finished up there and started law enforcement.
Well, I worked there on the weekends and some nights. So we worked together, and it just happened to stumble upon that I wanted to go see Eric Church live in Nashville because he is my all-time favorite. And Dylan was so gracious as to go with me.
Yep. I was very open to anything at that point. I loved going to concerts, and I had actually just went to one of my first ones. I actually saw Guns N' Roses on their 2016 reunion tour. They had just started, and Chris Stapleton opened for him, and I didn't even know who that was at the time. And Stacey was very jealous that she did not get invited to that show. I
remember that. Yeah.
And after that, I'm like, well, let's look at going to a concert, and Eric Church is the one that came up. I didn't even know who he was at the time. I had no idea.
You didn't know who he was at the time?
I had no idea who Eric Church was.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh, y'all, see, it was fate, because it wasn't a date. I don't consider it a date.
No.
I mean, there was no interest there whatsoever at the time.
No, I don't think either of us even thought about that at the time.
I do remember when we were eating dinner that night, because we went and ate dinner at Margaritaville, and sitting there eating dinner, and we were talking, and in the back of my mind, I was like, he's such a nice guy, but he's 20 years younger than me. This can't be what I'm thinking. So we just kind of pushed that off to the back. Or you hadn't even thought about it, but I kind of put that in the back of my mind and just went on as friends. But how many concerts did we attend together that summer? Do you remember?
I have no idea, but we saw it was 200 something artists.
Yeah,
over the course of a few years after that, starting from there. But we never really stopped the concert train up until last couple of years.
Well, when COVID hit, 2020.
Yeah, that kind of derailed a lot of our plans there. But
So I think it was probably about, a year later, we actually started to kind of think there might be something here, but we were both kind of still in denial about it.
Yeah, it was something probably a year into it or something. We started really understanding what was kind of going on. It was probably less than that actually, but yeah, it just kind of happened. We never really had that conversation. Really, it's just something that kind of took shape.
Just very natural. So we moved in together, and we lived together for a couple years, and then got married in 2022.
Yep, and we're coming up on 2 years now.
That's awesome. Awesome. So it's not, I don't day to day think about it. I don't ever really think about the age difference. I don't see the age difference when we're together in anything, but I always know it blows everybody else's mind. So just right off the top, I thought it was the best thing we could probably address and let everybody know kind of where we're coming from. So that's always fun to tell. Do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself, Dylan? Kind of give us yourself in a nutshell.
Oh gosh. I'm not a very exciting person. So I guess one thing that some people could find interesting is the fact that I am a police officer. I started my career, like I mentioned earlier, in February of 2020. And I hired on in the Murray Police Department, and they sent me to the academy. So I was actually gone it was right at 20 weeks for the academy and everything like that. Came back, and I worked for Murray for just right around 4 years. And then I recently made a transition to Calvert City Police Department, which this is all in Kentucky. You know, all these places are in Kentucky. And I've been there for just over 3 months. But before that, like I mentioned, I had an associate degree in criminal justice, and really that's about it.
Huge Packers fan. You've got to tell them about your Packers.
Yeah, that was coming up. I was going to make a transition to that.
Okay,
I was going to get there. So
I thought you was getting ready to just tell them that was all there was about you.
No, that's definitely not all there is. The interesting things about me. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people don't even think that a football team could be like a lifestyle, but let me tell you, it is. I have
our house. It is.
Yeah, we have a whole basement dedicated to the Green Bay Packers. I'm a huge Green Bay Packer fan. Have been my entire life. Like I said, we literally dedicated the whole basement to it. I've got jerseys and helmets and all sorts of stuff. And this upcoming season, we plan on watching a lot of the games up there. So I'm sure we'll mention that a lot more in the podcast as it goes on. But really, that is a big portion of
definitely.
Me. Basically, I go to work and then I'm off. Like I said, when sports aren't in, I'm a pretty boring person, honestly.
You're a boutique husband. You're a very good boutique husband.
I am, yeah. I consider myself the maintenance team whenever she goes to all of our shows with polka dots and paisleys. But
him and my dad keep it running for us.
Yep.
They are everything behind the scenes. So.
That could be a full-time job as well.
I always tell him that he didn't pick the boutique life. The boutique life picked him. So
it definitely did. It definitely did. A lot of learning curves, but we're there.
Yeah.
Another thing is we can mention Stitch.
Yes.
So we have
dog parents.
Yep, we're dog parents. We have a toy poodle. His name is Stitch, and he's 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
9 years old. He's just staring at me right now, thinking, "Why are you talking to the wall?" Because he doesn't understand that we're having a conversation. But he is full of energy, and he keeps us on our toes. I'll tell you that.
Very high maintenance, y'all. If you follow our Facebook page, which will be up and going by the time the podcast is released, I'm sure that you'll be able to see lots of pictures of him. We're excited to share lots of parts of our life. I already do that through my store page. So we're excited to have a home base to actually share that makes a little bit more sense about things about us. So you're all going to get to know Stitch. You're going to get to see pictures, videos, all the crazy things about him. Just for example, today alone, we was just adding up when I got home from work because we had to get him on some medicine for anxiety. And we was talking about how high maintenance that he is. He has to get groomed once a month. He is on anxiety medication. He gets a bark box.
He's very spoiled is what we're getting at.
Yeah, definitely. He has to eat special food that cost us a fortune. And you can tell that up until this point, he's been an only child.
Yep. Speaking of that, though, we did mention he's not going to be an only child for much longer. We are currently going through the adoption process. I know we're not going to talk a whole lot about that right now. We'll probably have a whole episode dedicated to that.
Definitely.
Probably have like some other family members and stuff involved with that as well, just to kind of give their takes on everything, and some of them who have adopted themselves. But December is kind of what we're looking at to add a little baby into the mix.
Yes. So Christmas, we are adopting, and our birth mom lives in Arkansas. So we are actually going down next week. We're going to get to meet her and go with her to a doctor's appointment. So we're really excited about that. Not going to lie, I'm a little nervous. Of course, we don't know exactly how it's going to go, but we talk with her every day by message. So we have gotten to know her pretty well. So I'm excited to get to meet her face to face. Honestly, y'all, I just need to hug her. I hope she's a hugger because I'm afraid that I'm going to attack her when we see her and just give her the biggest hug ever, because I can't wait. I can't wait to see her. But so we'll be making that trip down on Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Next podcast, I'm sure we'll have a lot more information because we're going to know the gender.
Yep, we are going to know the gender. So I would, here's one thing. If you guys wanted to post anything in the comments or anything like that and kind of pick on team boy or team girl.
Yes.
Stacey won't say it, but she's definitely team girl.
I'm going to be happy either way, y'all. I've waited forever for this. I've waited forever to be a mom. So either way is fine, but yeah, I can't lie. I'm very partial to it being pink. And I feel different every day. One day I tell him I think it's a boy, and one day I tell him I think it's a girl. So I really don't know. I don't know that I have a feeling. I
kind of feel like it's going to be a girl. And then they get Stacey very excited whenever I mention
it. Yeah. I can't wait. Everything I've picked out and everything that I've bought so far is pink. So all I know is we better hope it's a girl.
But in all seriousness, we are super excited.
Oh,
we
gosh,
cannot
yes.
wait to begin this next chapter of our lives. So
our journey into adoption has been very eventful, to say the least. And it has been very, God answers prayers. Let's just say that God answers prayers, and you always know when He's working, because the way our story came together was just absolutely mind blowing. So I can't wait to share more of that with y'all. But this episode's more about just us, how we met, just to kind of dive in.
Also, kind of giving you guys a rundown of what to expect.
Yes.
As well. So we're open to ideas for one. One thing right off the bat is I will kind of mention that we are going to post this to YouTube. We're going to post this to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I'm sure there might be a few more in there that I'm probably just not thinking of right now. But we are going to post it to several different platforms, and I'm going to kind of make it easy where there is a website. It's going to be thebobobuzz.com. I'll have all that linked, as well as Stacey's store, all that kind of stuff. Everything will be linked in the description. But that's where you can go, and you can either listen to the podcast straight on the website, or you can click the links and go to YouTube or anything like that, just whichever you prefer. And if there is any place that it's not added that you would like to see it added, just like I said, leave a comment. Just let me know. There's also going to be a spot on the website where you can send us a message. Good, bad, ugly. Just kind of let us know. Let us know how we're doing, because we are new to this, and it's, like I said, it's a learning curve for sure.
Be nice. Just be nice. I was just telling them at dinner tonight. We went and ate dinner with my family, my sister and brother-in-law and mom and dad. And I was telling them at dinner that when I go live on the store page, that you got to have thick skin, because people can sometimes be really rude behind the keyboard. So just be nice. Just remember that people are putting themselves out there. We're just normal people like y'all that thought it'd be fun to sit down and chit chat together for an hour and let y'all listen into what we were thinking. So,
and I can assure you, we don't care about negativity. So you can post it if you want. It's not going to
affect us. No
not
way.
going to affect my day to day. I can assure you.
But so just be nice, not just to us, but to everybody. Just be nice. So I own Polka Dots and Paisleys in Benton. It's a boutique. We do monogramming. We do embroidery. We sell kids' clothes. We sell women's clothes. We sell all around gifts. Before that, in my life, I was a dental hygienist. Worked as a dental hygienist for about 20 years, 15, 20 years that I worked full-time as a hygienist. I've always worked at our restaurant in Hardin. My parents own a laundromat. We do that too. As Dylan said, we thought we had 30 extra minutes in a week that we could, throw something else in. So we stay pretty busy.
Yeah, I wanted to cram a podcast in there as well and, tell all of our stories.
We started our store in 2010. So we've been there for 14 years. Gosh, that don't even seem possible. 14 years. I worked hygiene up until 2012, I think it was. With that, now I just very occasionally fill in doing that as well. Went to school at SIU in Carbondale, went to Carbondale, Illinois, went to dental hygiene school at John A. Logan in Carterville, Illinois. I lived up there for about 5 years and then moved back home whenever I graduated and got a job here. So I've been back here for, since like 2022 or 2002. I started 2022. See, it feels like it was literally just a couple years ago, but it was 20 something years ago. So, sorry. So, anyways, I lost my train of thought because you looked at me. He gazed in my eyes, and I lost.
That's what it was. Yeah, or the phone was vibrating on the table and making a lot of noise.
He's worried about the background noise, guys. He is definitely the tech guy in all of this. I know nothing about any of it. Actually, right before we started recording, I learned for the first time in my 45 years that earphones have a right and a left.
And she had them on backwards. She was, I cannot hear you how you can hear me. It's not making, I'm like, do you have the headphones on backwards? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, left side and right side? She's like, never heard of it.
Never had an idea. No clue. Then I told him I felt like I was taking a hearing test because he was like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And I started doubting myself, even though I knew I could or couldn't.
And in all seriousness, it probably sounds horrible. And I'm trying my best to make sure it, I keep trying to cough. So there's that too. I'm not so.
So what do you think we're going to get out of this? Like, what's your thoughts? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I kind of just want to, like I say, tell our stories and everything like that, and put it out there for the world to kind of listen to, and maybe eventually we can kind of build some kind of like community almost together. Like, have somebody, people that tune in every other week, and
so are we thinking every 2 weeks?
I think so.
To record?
I think every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks
for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of a good basis to kind of look at. Try to build a little community here and see if people even find this entertaining, for one.
If they'll even listen to us ramble for 45 minutes to an hour.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
See if people enjoy it, and maybe, like I said, maybe we'll get some comments on things to do next time or topics, or they might want us to whether play a game or anything, things like that.
Yeah.
We can really advance this, and maybe eventually we'll do some video. You never know.
I wanted to start off with video, and when we went with Tim, he kind of squashed that from the get-go. He was like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, and not to mention right now we are literally crammed. We've made a little home office in our corner of our bedroom, so I don't know where we would record at, but maybe eventually we can grow that and expand it out to where we can do some live and have some video going.
Baby steps, because like I said, I feel kind of overwhelmed with the website and stuff right now anyway, but I'm getting better at it.
I think it looks great. I think it looks awesome. Of course, by the time does the podcast drop? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
By the time the podcast drop, the website will be live. Our Facebook page will be live. So
yes, it should all be live.
Should all be tied together and ready to go. But Dylan's been showing me the website as he goes along, and I think it looks fantastic. I'm really impressed, and I'm kind of disappointed that he has held out all this time when I've been trying to build a website and all for the store, telling me he didn't know what he was doing. I think he really does.
No, I don't. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos.
Oh, me. Well, YouTube, you can learn everything on YouTube. There's literally nothing you can't learn on YouTube. So.
All right. Well, we kind of talked about how we met and everything like that. I think it's kind of important that we talk about how involved we are with our family. Oh, yeah. So we are very family oriented. We try to at least get together and eat, 2 or 3 times a week, really. I mean, it's been that way ever since we really got together.
Yeah, definitely. And we live in my parents' backyard. We just bought a new house about a year and a half ago, and it's literally in my parents' backyard. So we share a yard with them, and then Dylan's parents live 5 minutes up the road. So we are constantly together with really both of our families. And y'all, the dynamic between my parents and his parents is amazing. So we all get along great. We all spend lots of time together. as one unit, which I love. All the holidays.
Yep. It all just kind of meshed too, so there was never any issues with any of it really.
No.
It all just kind of happened, and we've been very happy and blessed for sure.
Yes, because his parents come to Christmas with my parents, so we have one big Christmas. Thanksgiving, we have one big Thanksgiving. Just couldn't ask for more there, because I know there's lots of places and couples that they don't all get along that well, and I feel super blessed to do that. But yeah, we have family dinners just about every night, actually.
Yep, it's pretty often.
Breakfast or dinner, whatever. It depends on what shift Dylan's working as to when we're all hanging together, but we definitely spend the majority of our time with our families, which is wonderful. My parents owning the restaurant, I think that makes it a little easier for us to get together. They're always there at night, so we can always pop in and eat dinner with them. So that makes it really convenient. But we also go out and eat a lot. That's
yeah, we tend to do that as well. We again with family though. It's not like we don't just go out. We're just the two of us. It's always,
no, never.
No. No.
When people always ask, like, when did y'all start dating? I'm like, I don't think we ever technically dated. It was never.
It just kind of started.
Yeah, maybe if you consider a concert a date, that could be it. But other than that, we're never flying solo, which I love. That does not bother me at all. But yeah, we talking about our house earlier. So Dylan moved in with me when we got together, and then last year in March we sold our house. And we bought a house that my granddad had that was a rental for years. And it's in a little subdivision here in Hardin. And we came in, completely gutted it, remodeled the entire thing. I say we did, as we was joking earlier. We paid
I assure you, we paid somebody to do it. I know my limits. And that's not something that's in my...
We did tear a lot of it out.
Yeah, I can do the demolition stuff. I just can't put it back together.
We wasn't comfortable putting it back together. So we hired some help, and we completely remodeled our house. So that was a whole journey in itself. Learned a lot. Learned a lot about how things work. Learned a lot about how things do not work, what you don't want to do. But we've been living here for about 3 months now, and love it. It's literally everything that both of us wanted. We were able to, for the most part, put our wants in there, and we was able to get them. Dylan got his Packers room, as he was telling y'all before. He has a whole basement that is completely just dedicated to the Packers. He's a huge collector of that. So he got his man cave in that area, and then I took the rest of the house. Any decisions that needed to be made, I'd be like, is it in the basement?
Yeah, if it's not in the basement, then me and my mom will take care of that.
My mom is awesome at decorating. My mom's awesome at putting stuff together. So yeah, me and her kind of took the lead. I should say she took the lead, and I just agreed or disagreed.
If you guys have ever seen the show Friends, which I don't know who has not seen Friends at this point, but there's an episode where I think it's Monica and Chandler are getting married, and Monica is asking Chandler to pick the type of flowers.
Yeah, that's it. The roses or the lilies.
There's two options here, and Chandler picks the one that Monica did not like. So he picked that, and then she goes, but what about this other side? That was Stacey and her mom with me. I would just sit there and be like, I like that one. I'm like, well, we really like this one.
Yeah. Do you like the white cabinets or the black cabinets? I like the white. But do you like the black?
Yeah. It's like we've already ordered the other ones. We're just asking you just to make you feel,
too many
involved.
Cooks in the kitchen. I think that's what Rachel says. I think she's like, too many cooks in the kitchen. Yeah, it really was that way. It was also that way with our wedding. He jokes that me and Mom got married and he was invited.
I was the stand-in. Yeah, I was the stand-in. And it wasn't just, I did not just have that joke. That was a running joke with a lot of people.
Yeah, especially even after the wedding, Kayla sent me a meme, and it was a poster that was outside of somebody's wedding, and it said like, welcome to Stacey's wedding featuring Dylan, real small at the bottom.
Yep, that's basically it.
But y'all, he's a good sport. He always goes along with it, and he just smiles and nods.
Oh, I'm fine with it, because I don't really like making decisions anyway when it comes to that kind of stuff. That's not, I can't see the finished product before it starts.
That was true. You did struggle with that when we was remodeling everything. You did struggle whenever we were picking things out or talking about what we wanted. You couldn't see it in the end, but once it all came together, you loved it. So
yes.
And Dylan and I are as well as we get along and as well as everything works between us, we are polar opposites. Like he is A and I am Z. And that's kind of how we approach everything too. So I can be saying the same thing you are, but
with our color palettes is the same way. I'm very neutral, and she likes, she has 40 different shades of blue. Like, I don't even know some of the names. Because I'll point to something and be like, that's baby blue. I'm like, no, that's actually turquoise teal. Or, something like that. And I'm like, well.
When we were getting married, we had been planning forever, y'all. I mean, like forever. And I forgot what we were talking about. One day I said something about the wedding colors. And he goes, we have wedding colors? I was like, yeah. He goes, I didn't even know there was such a thing. So, yeah, you are very
right hand
neutral.
in the air, I had no idea. Typical guy when it comes to that. I had absolutely no idea what our wedding colors were.
And in his defense, they were white, ivory, and cream. So it wasn't like we had a lot of colors going there. I kept it neutral for you, babe.
Yeah, guys, in other words, white and brown is what our colors were.
White and darker white.
Yeah.
That is true. So, all right. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything about us anything else that we just have to share. We just installed a pool. So we've always got something going on, guys. I'm always full of bright ideas and they never stop. So, we just installed a pool. We are having a deck built. They are out here working late afternoons and they're doing amazing. So we're super excited about that. And then just today we decided we've got to redo our driveway. So
yep. Again, didn't have enough things, going on. So we're like, you know what? Just throw that on top. We'll take care of it.
Let's dig up our driveway and redo it. That's fine. No problem.
Yeah.
You just dig it up, let's redo it. But that is, I think, our last huge project over the past almost 2 years, year and a half, 2 years that we'll be finishing up. And the house will be, I don't think you're ever done, but major things will be done.
But as a rule, the main things will be done. And I don't think we really have much more to expand upon, really. I mean, I'm sure we'll add stuff along the way, but nothing major.
No.
Knock on wood.
No, so excited to get all that finished and we can get a little settled. Well, it sounds like our dog's getting a little antsy. He's been really good up until this point. I was a little worried, I'm not going to lie. But I think he's done pretty good.
I think that's going to be one of those things, guys. I will try my best to control the noise as much as possible, but there's some things that are just out of my control.
And come December, it's going to be really out of our control because...
Yeah, one of us will be holding the dog, one of us will be holding the baby. So there's no telling what these microphones are going to pick up.
We're going to have to get little baby earphones.
Yep. We'll have, 3 or 4 on the podcast every other week. So...
Well, maybe we can hire a sitter to come over and hold the baby. I bet we could get a volunteer because our parents are...
They're chomping at the bit. They are so excited.
Cannot wait.
I would say they're probably just as excited as we are if I was to put them right behind it.
I think so. I definitely think so. So upcoming week, things going on. We are, like I said, taking a trip to Arkansas.
Yes.
We are going to go to the doctor, get to meet our birth mom.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're going to get to kind of meet everybody and kind of see... all of her family and
see how they're doing and just see how they live and what their lifestyle is like. And then on Saturday when we get home, our family and friends are throwing us a little gender reveal. So we're going to find out if it's a boy or a girl. We're going to be surprised with the rest of our family and friends. If we can, we're going to try our best. Not to find out while we're gone. I know with adoption, it can be kind of tricky because it's not about us. It's more about birth mom. So we'll see what she wants to do and how comfortable she is with everything. But our plan is not to find out so we can find out and be surprised on Saturday with our family and friends. So we'll see how it goes.
However, I know Stacey, and I know when we get down there, if they're like, ask us straight out, like, do you want to know? I can assume we're going to know. We'll come back and surprise our family with that. And that'd be more for them at that point.
I'm very impulsive. Is that a good word?
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid off. Kinda.
Yeah. So I'll have these bright ideas that I'm gonna like take it slow and be calm and just like today, my job was to make us a little outline, I guess, of kind of things we wanted to discuss. Right before we hopped on here, I had a scratch piece of paper, and I wish you could see my notes that I wrote that showed what we had to talk to while Dylan's over there pulling up basically a PowerPoint on what he wants to do.
I just typed it out on a computer so I could read it. Stacey writes in Stacey writing. It's not necessarily English. It's not necessarily, I don't really even know. It's a new form of writing. I can't read it.
All of my letters run together. I would have made a fantastic doctor. Let's just put it that way. I would have made a great doctor. I think it's the waitress in me. I think it's all those years of trying to write that down as fast as they tell me, because you know that we don't have anything computerized at the restaurant. So that's what I'm blaming it on. And I chart. See, as a dental hygienist, I charted. So it was like a 2-for-1. It was like waitress / dental hygiene charts.
Never see somebody make every letter into a circle. Just keeps looping and looping and looping.
He did ask me, he said, is this in English or is this in Stacey? I'm like, well, it's in Stacey. So, yeah, but exciting things coming up.
We're definitely going to have a lot of guests on the podcast, for sure. I can't say for sure anybody that is going to definitely be on here, but we're definitely going to add people as we
I've been amazed how many people has asked us if they can come on.
A lot of people want to be a part of something like this. I think a lot of them listen to podcasts and they think it's a interesting idea. And like I said, we're at the very bottom, like basic, trying to just figure this out.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're doing, guys.
So it'll get better.
If you can just push through with us for a couple. I
think so. Because once we start kind of get going and everything, we'll kind of start having some more dedicated podcasts. Not necessarily just one topic, but more of a game plan. This has kind of just been an introduction. We can have some, just kind of based around the adoption, obviously, the process that we're going through. And then once baby comes, we'll have all kinds of content on that, I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be plenty of things to talk about there. But we'll have that. Again, just kind of family functions, concerts. We'll go back and relive a lot of the concerts that we have.
Yes.
I'm a big picture and video guy, so I've got like albums from every concert we've been to, so we can kind of go back and rehash, which ones we liked, which we didn't like, that kind of thing.
That is probably one of the most fun times of my life, was when we first started hanging out and we was going to all of the concerts. Guys, we would literally go to concerts 3 days a week. We spent, I think, I say this a lot and I've told a lot of people, I think that's why we fell in love. We spent so much time in the car driving to a concert back and forth, because we would have to be at work at 8:00 the next morning. So we would literally drive to St. Louis, go to a concert, and drive all the way back home. And
get home at 1 or 2 and then be up at 8 for
work again. And we spent a lot of time just getting to know each other. I can remember there was nights that we would literally Google things so we had something like new to talk about. I remember like Googling questions to ask each other, and we would just laugh when we were asking them and answering them.
It would be like having a podcast every single night. Like if you would eventually, you don't have anything to say. And this is our first one, and I feel like kind of just sputtering through it. We have a couple notes, but it's not. It's kind of different, and I feel like it'll get easier as we start. As we start doing it.
Definitely. So. We that was when I first started wanting to podcast. Was we spent so much time in the car, and I wanted to vlog. I wanted to vlog about our traveling, and I wanted to vlog about our concerts and things like that. So that was actually when the idea kind of came about, and we've been just tossing it around all these years later, and here we go. So, but yeah, next week or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we'll be dropping a new one.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what day that'll fall on, but yeah, here in a couple weeks we're gonna post this first one on the August the 1st. So looking like the 15th, about August 15th will be our second one, and then we'll have a lot more information on obviously gender of baby B for one.
We can give away the name.
Yep, we'll give away the name, and we'll kind of start
because we have names picked. We know exactly what it's going to be.
Yep, but only a certain number of people know that, so we'll release that on the 15th as well. But I mean that's basically it. So
follow us on Facebook, the Bobo Buzz.
Yes, so it'll be the Bobo Buzz on Facebook, but the main hub that you can go to is thebobobuzz.com. That website will be live, and it'll have, I feel like it's a relatively easy website to kind of navigate, but there's a whole schedule tab on there where you can see when the new podcasts are going to be posted, what time, everything like that. Links to our YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, there'll also be Instagram as well. All those things will be linked on there, and it should be pretty easy access to the podcast. I also have it just basically right there where you can listen to it straight on the website if you want to. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for everybody to listen to it. But like I said, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can comment on this or send us a message on that website. It'll have a whole block on there where you can reach out
Where they can
to
message us
Yeah.
and reach out to us.
Yeah,
and
so you
stuff.
can reach out.
Awesome.
So if there's
Great.
any issues or you guys have, like I said, have any tips or anything like that, because I'm sure there's several of you guys that have probably done some kind of podcasting or editing or anything like that in the past. I would love to hear from you.
We are open to all suggestions, so help us out there, and we'll figure it out, guys. We're going to stumble through it together. I'm excited to get started. I feel like this is the hardest one.
Yeah, this is like
Just jumping in and doing it.
It's like when you're riding a bike and you still got the training wheels on. You're just like,
rip them off.
Yeah.
How many times did we start this before we actually recorded?
Oh, we tested it a lot. Yeah, we did a lot of. We're gonna call it testing, not just. Just bad attempts, I guess you could say.
But then we just decided, it's gonna hurt either way. So just get started. Let's do it, and get the first one over with. And that way, everything from there, I think, is easier. I think after the first one, everything from that point on is easier. But I've enjoyed it. I think it's been fun. I think just getting to spend the time together and talk. I'm almost feeling like this is eventually going to maybe feel like a little bit of a date night. That it'll be just a time me and you can sit and talk with each other and just spend time.
Yeah, we'll just kind of see where it goes. So. Like I said, everything's going to be linked in the description. So if you guys could look down in that, you can, figure out where to subscribe to our podcast and everything like that. If there's anywhere else you would like us to add it, feel free to reach out. I think that's basically it.
Yeah. Thanks for. I hope we still have a couple listeners. I hope at least Deborah and Rhonda's still listening to us at this point.
Maybe at this point we'll have at least one or two. And that's another thing, guys. We're probably going to typically keep these around 45 minutes to an hour. That's kind of the game plan. I don't want to
bore you.
Kind of ramble on with stuff that we don't even really need to talk about. So
I kind of lose interest in anything I'm listening to after about 45 minutes or so. That's about the length of my attention span, if even that.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's going to be it. We're going to wrap it up, and this has been
episode 1 done.
The first episode of the
Check
Bobo
it
Buzz,
guys.
So
Thank y'all.
The Band-Aid's ripped off. We want to thank everybody for listening, and we'll
I'm already looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on the 15th.
Bye, guys. We'll see you soon.